Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to share something very special and personal for me. So it is not a tutorial or production trick, but the emotional and creative journey behind my albums. So since 2006 I've released 5 full-length albums. Each one of them carries a certain story and each one is a kind of a chapter of my life. And if you are a musician or just someone who creates anything from the heart, I think this might speak to you. So making an album isn't easy. It's not just about finishing up the tracks. So in Psytrance, the album means around 60 to 70 minutes of music, roughly 9 tracks. But more than that, it's a psychological journey, also spiritual one, with pressure, with expectations, with moments of inspiration and periods of complete emptiness. So over the years, I watched the scene changes. So these days, most artists focus on the singles, every 2 to 3 months, a new track, to stay active and visible. Then some of these singles get compiled with few unreleased tracks and they become an albums. It makes very much sense strategically, but something gets lost: the soul and the deeper intention. A part of the reason for that is a system. A lot of artists are tied up closely to the labels and booking agencies. So these management sites often advises artists on how to release, when, how often, what kind of content works. These strategies are usually just recycled from the past successes. So that's why, in my opinion, we are seeing less originality. Not in the music itself, but in how the music is presented. So most of albums today lack vision, they lack the concept. I am not pretending to have all the answers, and if I did, maybe I would be in a different place today. But what do I have is an experience. And I want to share that experience with you so you can find your own way with less stress and more courage. So let me take you through my albums, which bring us all the way back to my first album, which was released under Beyond Ecliptica, and it's called Groove Technologies. So this album came very fast. I was very young and hungry. I could make a track after track without overthinking. I don't even remember the process, to be honest. As if it was stressful, I would remember it. And usually when something is hard, you remember every detail. So this album didn't bring me the major success which I wanted, and only thing that happened was only one international gig in Athens, which brings us to my second album, Shuma. But before that, after failing to make my ambitions come true, I fell into depression. It felt like the whole world collapsed. In that pain, I shifted my focus. I put everything into finding a job and made a serious decision to quit music altogether. I gave my best effort to quit the music, but the music didn't let me go. I was building a marketing career, and from the outside it looked like things were getting better. But in every free moment, I found myself back in front of the computer making music. Not for anyone else, just for myself. No pressure, no ambitions, no expectation, and this is when the Eclipse was born. So very quickly after that, things started to happen. My tracks got picked up and supported by the names like John Double O Fleming, Liquid Soul, Paul Oakenfold, and suddenly everything began developing very fast. So looking back, I realized something important. When I surrendered, when I truly let go, the stress disappeared and something else showed up. The pure emotional spark inside of me started flowing again. So the music I made in that time was honest, it was real, and that's when the second album came, Shuma. I wasn't chasing the trance, I was mixing melodic progressive with Goa, with full on, even darker sounds, so everything that I wanted to do. So no pressure, I had a job, music felt like a side thing, even though it was always the main thing in my soul, and that's when the things started to happen. Gigs, festivals, but I always tried to work 2 days a week on a constructions with my father, just to stay grounded, to appreciate the life I was building. We are coming to my third album, Into the Void, so this was the most difficult one. So by now I had management, a circle of artists, people advising me constantly. Everyone had an opinion of what works. Many of these ideas didn't resonate with me, but I doubted myself. So who was I to challenge people who were in the game before me? So writing music for this album was an easy task, but mixing, it took me exactly whole year. I actually never finished, I was never satisfied with the sound. I sent the tracks as they were because of the deadline came in. And still, that album did really well. After Into the Void, I started touring like crazy, and in 2014 I played almost every weekend, sometimes 5 gigs in 2 days. And I remember that 5 gigs in 2 days in Brazil, from airport to car, hours of driving, straight to the stage, over and over again, and I was very excited, but I kept going. So we are arriving to my latest and fourth album by Integrity Design, as after so much touring, I burned out. But I didn't realize it at first. I kept releasing and maintaining visible. I was still on the autopilot. I was also enjoying the life a bit too much, if you know what I mean. I made this album very fast, so the only track that had any soul was Sundowning, which I made with Zen Mechanics. So everything else felt empty, mechanical, drained. I never even played these tracks live, except for Sundowning. That album was a kind of a shell. It didn't have any spirit. And finally, we are coming to my breakdown. So after that album and everything that's going, anxiety came in from the lifestyle, from the years of pushing. I started making big management mistakes. I was surrounding myself with people whose values didn't align with me, and I didn't trust myself anymore. So the real me was gone. So we are entering the COVID period, a huge turning point. I left these toxic circles, I started healing, slowly rebuilding my confidence, but I had to surrender completely. I knew that from the experience of Shuma, so I stopped making music. For 2 years, I made nothing. I had nothing to say, and I accepted it. Because I knew if I wanted to make my music again, it couldn't be for the gigs, it couldn't be for a survival, it had to come from truth, from freedom. So I started making money in other ways to protect my art, to keep my music pure. We arrived to the present time, and I just finished my fifth album, The First Vibration, that is coming out on 27th June on Sounds of Akasha. So this album wasn't even planned. I was just making music when I felt it. No deadlines, no expectations, and then one day I realized I had enough tracks. Most of them were already finished. Without even realizing, I had created a full album, effortlessly, unconsciously. And this time, it is real. This is, without a doubt, the most honest music I ever made. No pressure, no tricks, just me. When I finished some of the tracks, like Pyramid, the second track on the album, I cried a lot. And I remember that the last time that happened was during Shuma, when I made a few tracks, and that tells me something. So only Shuma and The First Vibration were made from a place of complex honesty, no external influences. I didn't even listen to the Psytrance creating the last album, so except a few tracks from friends like Igorhythmia and the demos from Sounds of Akasha. But this album was made out of any influences outside of me. So the reason I'm telling all of you this, and I know that this video is a bit too long, but here is the heart of it. So your best music will not come from pressure, it will not come from the deadlines or strategies. It will come when you let go, when you stop forcing, when you are free. The industry will tell you to post selfies at the airports and pretend you are living some type of the high life, but if it doesn't excite you, it will not work. The only thing that truly works is what you love doing. For me, that's sharing the knowledge with you, presenting myself online, being real with you over here, talking about creative processes, being myself. It was a risk to do it at the beginning, but it works because it's real. So be who you are, do the things your way, let go of any pressure and make music you love. It will work, I promise you that. Much love to all of you, and I can't wait for all of you to hear The First Vibration on June 27th. Stay tuned and have a wonderful day.